G'day, how you going? Welcome to my channel. I'm Ianapolis, your acrylic guru. I'll just get the size up there before we get started, and also the colours going up the screen. Now today I want to do something simple but very effective for you beginners. It's Mount Fuji in Japan there. But I want to do it in a way where it's very easy to achieve, but when the final painting's done, it's just got great impact. Okay, so that's what I want to try and do. And it's pretty much gonna have the mountain here with a cherry blossom tree, a sakura blossom in the corner there. All right, so come on over here and let's get right into it. All right, we're just going to do the mountain. Like, I don't want to do the mountain in the middle. I want to have it over to the edge here because the cherry blossom's going to come in on this side as well, and it's just going to have a beautiful, simple, sweeping sky. So we'll probably come from about here and bring Mr. Fuji up a bit here somewhere, and he'll sort of scoot down all the way along there like that, and we'll put the sky in. That's just a rough idea where I want it. When I do the sky, this might move, who knows, but if you watch the video a few times and work out the order I do it, and you can just work on the sky for a while. If you think all of it combined is too much, just concentrate on your sky, then go and concentrate on your mountain, and then the tree. Okay, we'll get a simple sky up there. I've just got some soft student grade poster paint, craft paint. It's not the good stuff in the tube, out of a tube. And I'm going to mix up some retarder with that, just so as I can get my base for the sky, because I want to blend a few colours in there, and this helps soften it and blend it down, okay? And whatever area you're in, if it's dry or moist climate, you add the right amount of retarder. Obviously the more damp your climate, the less, and the more dry, the more you would use. So up here, I know I'm going to have me mountain down there. All right, so I want to just get this block in to the sky area. And this is pretty much just now this canvas cloth that I'm using, it's already primed. It doesn't matter. When I do my skies, I always do them in this method, this procedure, putting the craft quality student based paint on there, okay? And where I'm having the mountain, I don't really need this paint under it, because when that's dry and you're detailing or whatever, this can always lift and give you grief. That's why I just don't put that underneath. So we've got that just blocked in there with me putter on a brush. See how simple that was? You can do that, I'm telling you. Now this next procedure to make it look very professional, you also can do. You've done that, okay? Now all you do is you go to the tip of the brush here and you start stroking it left and right. The tip of the brush is really ironing it out and making it a beautiful surface to do our sky on, all right? Look at that. Now I've just wiped that brush. I haven't washed it. Same putter on a brush. Great brush this. I've got me cerulean blue, and I've just got some real atmosphere colours there. I've got a mid-tone grey. If you don't have that in a tube, just mix yourself up a mid-value grey, and I've got some permanent alizarin. I'm going to use very little of that, but for now I just want to get the blue sky colour in. So I'm going to pick up the cerulean blue here. I love this because to me it's a real blue sky colour. Now I will start at the top and bring it down. So I'm just going to stroke it from the top, getting it on there. Now I'm pulling it down. And if anything, you want it lighter at the base, at the bottom of your sky. You don't want it dark. And you don't want this dark blue anyway, because it'll look too cartoony. Now we've got a lot of lines in there. You can crisscross blend them out if you want, just like that with the tip of this brush. It's real forceful, it's very powerful, and it gets the job done. That's what I love about this brush. It really gets right into it. All right, then I'll stroke that left and right like a gentleman. And if you feel the bottom's not light enough, you always grab a bit of that craft paint, which I've just gone down there and done that. See, this is just as an example, and put that at the base part of your sky. Now I'm keeping on the tip of my putter on a brush. You know why? Because there, if I tilt it, it's going to get darker blue in there, okay? So I'm keeping with the tip of the brush. There we go. And for those beginners who might want to wonder why the base of the sky is always lighter than the top, it just creates that sphere shape. Now we're going to put some real atmosphere colours there. So what I want for the bottom is the grey, but a tinsy wincy weeny bit of that permanent alizarin, because that's going to give it that value that we get in the distance. I see it a lot in my skies here in Australia. That's purpley grey enough. It's sort of purpley grey, all right? And this is going to go all the way across the base of the sky, not way up here. This is the bottom, because as you're looking further out, way beyond there, far away, is that polluted stuff. So straight across the bottom, push it in there, don't be shy, push it right in there. Now, lo and behold, you've got a line there, but you don't want that. So what you do with the tip of the brush, you're constantly merging that up with some crisscrossy strokes like that, keeping there we go. Now that might not look much to you, but when you add the clouds into that, it kind of sits down. You can put the white clouds on it, it's picking up the grey, it's fantastic, and it just adds that element of realism to your sky. Instead of just doing a simple blue sky, then a brown mountain or a snowy mountain, whatever, it's good to get these colours in your sky and be familiar with why they're there and how they're there. Now this next part is easy. This is just adding the clouds to our sky that we got on there. What we've got up there, you can do it. I'm telling you, a bit of practice. If you're very first time, you can do it. Now, that had the retarder in there to slow the drying time down. That has not. Now this is straight out of this tube, this titanium white. I'm just getting that onto my fan brush. Now be sure not to have it big and gluggy, because if you try and put that thick paint on the thin paint up there, you're going to be pulling your hair out going, why isn't it working for me and it worked for him? I'm just thinning it down, wedging it into this fan brush. Okay, titanium white on its own out of the tube. There's the tube right there. All right, now we're going to put some clouds in the sky. So I've got some higher cirrus up here first before this dries. Nothing big and fluffy like I've got in Australia here. I'll just quickly put something there first, just like that. Now I have my blending brush and a rag, and I just want to simply blend that down into the sky any old way. Just keep looking at it. Okay, looking good, looking good. Pull it. Now there's a lot of paint, believe it or not, on your blending brush. If you want to blend clouds the way I do, you need another rag in your hand, and you just simply, these are high cirrus, so they're not really sharp edges, they're just floating around up there like that. There we go, there's one. And we're going to simply put some more down there. Always clean your brush if you feel it might be getting dirty. We'll just put something there, just along there like that, and I'll simply blend them down. See how hard they look and how we're going to turn it into. Pretty easy, isn't it? Grab your blending brush, grab a cloth constantly. You're like a mad scientist and you're really feral on how you want things done. Wipe that back off, because while you wipe it off, you'll just put more brighter values over here, and you'll be pulling your hair out saying, why did it work for him and not for me? Simply because you weren't listening, if that's what you've done. There we go. Now we'll come on down to the bottom and we'll get some atmospheric clouds down here in the atmosphere, down in the bottom there. Some of these will be darker up, not darker up, brighter. But these are picking up a lot of that grey and the permanent alizarin. I keep getting that and quinacridone magenta mixed up. Quinacridone's more got purpley violet, this one's more red. See what we're doing? Now I can see here, I want to get that, there we go, little scoots like that are great. Sometimes you make accidental masterpieces in your cloud, and if you're familiar with seeing them, leave them there, okay? Wipe the brush again. Now that's looking a bit mumble jumble there. We can fix that up just by scooting. If anything, you can notice I'm scooting these clouds in this way like that, because we're obviously up on the hill looking at Mount Fuji here. And just that bottom bit now, we can put the slightest bit of yumminess, which means just a bit more cracking white. Put it on there, not too much, mainly across here like that, so to speak. A little bit there. And what I do with the yumminess, I leave it there but I sit it down. So you're leaving the vibrancy there on top of the cloud you just done, but you're welding it into it. So see how that's got that more vibrant bit there? I'll just wipe the brush. You're leaving the whiter value there, but you're just sitting those hard edges down. And that's pretty much it. You can keep going till the cows come home, but that's enough. All right, we'll just scoot something across there if you want. I've dried the sky. Now I'm just getting the burnt umber to put in for the mountain, but I've just got a bit of burnt umber and black with a little bit of white, because that's the colour I want the mountain to be, because there's going to be atmosphere between you and it. I don't want it this big dark colour there. But for now, we'll just map it in with that dark colour, and then that'll be the colour I use to get the actual shading in. So we've got to at least cover the sky. See, I've just dried the painting where the sky is. So we're going to pretty much come up here and come up to Mount Fuji. Let's see if we can get this looking at reasonable. A little bit there. Because I've seen a picture on it. I just went and had a quick look at a picture just to see what sort of distinct look it has. That's not quite as much. Just like that. And it comes all the way down. Now we've got to keep it to our sky here. Roughly there like that. So I can fine tune it if I have to, if I feel the actual shape has been lost a bit. But I just want to quickly now block this in with the burnt umber and dry it. And then we can add the other flavours of lighter and duller values. Come along here. Now it doesn't have to be Mount Fuji, you can just do any mountain you want using this method, okay? Now I'm going to stroke it, just getting it reasonably artistically looking good, and I'll turn the camera off and I'll just dry this with my hairdryer. I dry it with hot air, and I've got a button on there that turns the hot air into cool air, and I finish it off with cool air, because hot air kind of wants to melt stuff, and then the cool air cools it down. Okay, so I've got my burn umber here, and I want to get a bit of black into it. So it's going dark, but we want to get this value here that we tested. Okay, so we're going to get that by tinting it with some just white. So I'll grab some of that white over there that's got none of the retarder in there, and we'll get this a bit more. And just play with it, because you want atmosphere between you and the distance there. So that's pretty much, we're getting the color we want. And now we've pretty much painted the mountain in with a base color, so anything of this that doesn't color, it's gonna not show a white canvas. Now Mount Fuji is very high, and it has a lot of snow coming down it. So this is pretty much going to go roughly to where the snow would be. So let's say about here. I'll just roughly, and I'm going to fan my brush around like this as I'm using it, okay? So pretty much just loosely paint it in like that. That's pretty much where all the snow is going to be up there. And now we just want to scoot this, paint it in loosely, scrumble it, blend it. We can have some darker bits here, whatever. If I had been there, I've never been there, but I suppose if I had, I would probably know some distinct features about it. That's the good thing about going to places that you have painted. You'll be familiar with distinct things about it. So we're going pretty much that way. Back over here, we'll get some of that right up in there because the snow can cover it up. And I want to show you how to get a mountain looking like 3D instead of just a flat object at the back of your painting. So I'm going to do that as well with you. So I'm just getting this pretty much simplified, very easy. A beginner can do this, you can do this. Just practice these brush strokes, okay? And I'll even get a bit of black on the brush, just a little bit, and look, we'll probably put some just darker values in there. Look at that, don't leave hard edges on them. I'm going to wipe that over here, that brush, same brush. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. I'll wipe all that. Now see that black I put on there? just scrumble. I call it scrumble. I'm not sure if that's the right word for that. I've heard other people use the word scumble, but I say scrumble because I'm scrumbling it in there. Getting some darker value, so it's just not two-dimensional, it's adding a third dimension to it. Just scrumbling it in there like that, okay? Now play with this until you're happy with it, then we'll add the simple snow on there. Okay, what's next? I've finished mucking around with that dark and lighter values of the mountain. Now we want the snow colour, but we don't want to use just pure white. So what I'd like to teach you beginners out there is when you're doing white, always pull a bit away like that. And we're just going to put the tinsiest, weeniest bit of the sky colour in there, which is the blue. So we're just going to taint it. I call it tainting it, you're staining it. So on its own, it's still going to look white, but once you put the actual white on top of it, if you need to highlight it, it's going to crack and boom and go, wow, there's detail there. Someone's going to look at your painting and go, oh, I like that. Here we go. So that's like a really powdery baby blue. Very, on its own, on the painting it looks white. Okay. So now grab yourself a flat brush. I've dampened it a little bit and wiped it. Just make sure it's not too soaking wet. And I want to grab this paint and chisel it onto a flat brush like so. See now what I'm trying to do, see the edge of me sharp, the brush there? As I'm loading this up, in my mind, I'm here, not in Carolina, I'm here in Perth. In my mind, I'm trying to get that so sharp so as I can create on the canvas these, see these lines here, instead of using a scary knife. And I've got my mail stick, and we're going to create the snow. So from the top, right on the edge, don't have any brown sticking out of that. Come down to that area. Now to me that's looking a little bit too blue. I'm going to add a little bit more white with that, just so it's not too blue. Now come down the edge, see here where we scratched in those colours? That's where we want to bleed this to. So we're pretty much going to come down the mountain. See how I've got a bit of brown there? Cover that up. It's important to be pedantic about your work, and when you get to the edge, just let it scratch away like that. Get some more on there. Now I'm fussing with the broken up edge before I do anything. I want to scratch it down here. Scratching it down, veins of it coming down. Then all this can be a lot more solid. I've dried the mountain, but it might need a bit more drying or tender brush strokes, because you don't want to be digging up. If it had that sky retarded paint under there, see how I'm bashing this paintbrush into the painting there? It'll be lifting that up now, and that's why I don't put that retarded craft paint underneath everything. Only where I'm going to blend mainly a sky. See the peaks of stuff? Any peaks of stuff, you always come down from them. There we go, we've got snow coming down there. It's going to have different lighter and brighter values here, but this is all snow here. And it's going to be breaking up. A lot of snow on the top. Oh, I should have googled how tall this is. I'm sure someone can comment below and tell me and everyone else how tall Mount Fuji is. Right along that edge, right along there, and let it break, let it break, let it break. I'm going to get a little bit of water into that paint mix because it's a little bit on the, and we want veins of it breaking up there. See, that's why I'm using this flat. I just find it a lot easier. This is a dirty, dirty white. And some of these bits out here, you can always break a bit off like that and let it tassel behind. So let me just finish now with this flat brush, because I don't want to bore the living buggery out of you. I'll just finish getting this colour in there. Now I've cleaned my brush and I'm just picking up the white, same brush, and you want to keep this to one side kind of thing. Don't go over the whole lot. You want to see some of this shadowing within your mountain to create that 3D look. So where I said you get the top and you zigzag down, I want to get this right against there, and I'm going to do a make-believe in my head zigzag bit, so this white is all there. Now let me look in the monitor there. This pure white is getting picked up. Now make sure, see this colour here doesn't clash with your sky colour. I did mix it a little bit blue. The sky down there could have been a bit more grey, but you want a good quality white with a lot of pigment in it, so it's going to be not so see-throughy. And we're just going to lightly go over that blue stuff now and highlight it with bits of snow, and you'll see bits of the blue white underneath. Find a ridge there, just cap it off. Something down here, right there. I do want to get the very edge of that white, just to break it up from the sky. There we go, something out there. And the mountain's pretty much, after we finish doing this, it's pretty much done. It's a distant mountain, but it's got charisma, it's got style and substance, and it's something you can do, and I know you can do it. And if you're new to painting and you're seeing something like this and you're feeling intimidated, that's a normal feeling, but just remember, you don't have to, because it just takes simple practice and time and effort, and you can do what you want. That's why I say you can do it. There we go. I can detail that over and over, but you get the gist of what's going on. And that's pretty much our snow on Mount Fuji. If you feel, oh, it's a bit blobby and white there, Ian, you can always grab your brush and just put some fine, come from the brown and put some fine, I'll just show you as an example, get some finer bits radiating up into there. The finer you do these, the more realistic it looks. But on that same plane as the way you did all your painting before. Now I haven't dried that. What's that looking like in the... There you go. You don't want it looking too stampy though, like got little nodes on the end of those. Somewhere around here we can probably get some scooting up. Come from the dark and bleed them into there. This is just if you feel it's too white and blobby. Probably get some bit out in there. I'm just wiggling, shaking my hand like I'm nervous. We all get nervous when we paint, no matter how long you've been painting for. It's always a journey you're about to get into. There we go. Now I'm going to wet my liner brush, and I want the burnt umber and some black. And I want to brush mix that so it's dark brown, not too black, but not too starky brown either. Just looking for that right amount. Now because I brush mixed it, my brush is full and gluggy and blobby and full of all sorts of, you'll get nothing, look at that. So what you need to do after you've done that is just simply wipe that like a gentleman. Okay, so just wipe the gunk off there. Okay. And just dampen it a little bit, and then we can wiggle it into our paint and see our brush is loaded now, nice and neat and controllable. And up here I just want to put some like simple cherry blossom branches first, here and there around the painting. So they kind of go like that. That's the way they sort of seem to be in my eyes. We'll get one pointing right out here. So what I'll do is I'll get my brush on there, don't be scared, and I'm going to start twisting it and grabbing it and getting it to where I want it to go, keeping a nice sharp edge. See, there we go, that was easy, you can do that. Keeping a nice sharp edge. We'll get one here now, touch the painting, now start twisting and bringing it to where you want. Stop because it's starting to break up, be wise at what you're doing. Grab your mail stick if you need to, lean on that, start from where it broke up and then keep twisting. Now it's a branch, it doesn't have to be nice and neat and like it was bought from a shop. There we go, and we're coming up here as well, twisting it, making it naturefied and beautiful. There we go, that was easy. You can do that. I'm pretty sure anyone can do that, really. Probably get another one about here. I'm going to come down and then sort of go up. I need more paint, a little bit of water on that paint. It's just breaking up too much. And the more finesse you put into this, at the end of the day, your painting's going to look fantastic. Now, try not to put them side by side. Don't be scared to get stuff crossing over and backwards like that on itself, okay? It just gives it more sense of, oh yeah. It's got that oh yeah feel about it. Now I've done that. They're just the bases of the branches for the cherry blossom, the sakura tree, I think what they call it. Now don't worry, we're going to put bits out in the air as well, and we'll join up all the fine detail to it. So down here I've just got Maples yellow, or it's actually Naples yellow, and next to it I want to grab some of that, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to use this brush because I feel this will do me little blossoms, and I'm going to grab some of the permanent alizarin because I want a different value of this maples just to create darker values and lighter values of it. So I'm going to get, I've got that colour. Have I got some dirty colour in this brush? And I've pretty much got that colour there. So this will be the basis, and then I'll highlight it with the lighter bits. Okay, so grabbing this brush, and we're just going to go to town trying to get the right shape. Let's see if I can find the shape I want. Now I'm not worried if these are textured or not. Come right out off your tree, over your branch a bit here and there. Oh, big aeroplane going by. Over here, over your branches some, and get a lot of this stuff out in the open where you got no branches, okay? Now I'm going to dry every layer of this as I do it. Now really these need a little dark centre of them to make them a bit more realistic, but we'll just do it for the painting's sake. It's not a, we're not going for a real photo finish type of thing here. Crossing the branch but leaving the branch there, don't cover it up altogether. Some down here. Don't worry if you group interlocks with that one, because when we highlight it, we can sync that back with highlights, which will create the 3D look. Just coming within the shot. Not too much sky, but now that you've done that, I mean, a lot of them are blobbed up, but we're going to make them look with the lighter colour. Grab yourself a smaller liner brush, and this is where you can add little branches feathering out to all this stuff. Here, there and everywhere. Like this here's not sitting on there, so that can be brought back through there somewhere. It'll be covered up with highlighted stuff. We just got little forks coming down like this, joining everything up, just making it look a bit more believable, okay? So you put this in because these will be sunken down as well with the highlights. So we pretty much just get that right in there somewhere, just like that. Try and use your imagination. We've got some up here. Get that nice and tight. Coming down, back in there somewhere, there's a bit off there, some in there. See how it's breaking up? You want them nice and sharp looking. There we go. And we've just pretty much added simple, effective detail within it before we sync it back with the highlights. Now if you feel a lot of these blobby colours aren't enough, add as much as you want. I'm feeling it could be a little bit shy, but I'll get by with that. I just want to get this tutorial done. Now I've got just the maples yellow on its own, but what I will do, just to make it a bit more opaque, I think that's the word we need, is we'll put a little bit of white with it, just to make it a bit more louder. Sometimes when you add white to a colour, it gives it more grunt. There we go. And I want to look for, like, this is in front there, in front of what's behind there. You know how I've done stones? Pretty similar. I want to do a bit and just see how it's looking in my monitor. So we're pretty much highlighting the tops of these, making them. And see, like this bunch here, this can be a whole big bunch from this branch, and then these ones can be highlighted from behind, leaving the darkness in between. Did that turn out okay? Yeah, it's sort of doing what I want it to do. So we're pretty much getting a lot of this highlighted right over there. And having a great time doing it as well. My mind's in a good place at the moment, so I'm happy. It's good to be happy when you paint, eh? Now I've got that little liner again. I haven't dried it. I'll see if I do or not. And in the middle of them, I'm just getting a dark centre, because I had a look to see what these blossoms look like, and they have kind of a darkish centre. So before I highlight them, I just want to indicate those little dark areas there. The thing we miss out in paintings when we're painting is forgetting the darks. So I've finished putting those dark centres in there and I've dried it. Now we'll grab the Naples yellow, and I've got some white now and I really want to highlight it. I'll grab some of that over here and we'll mix that into that white, because we want it really highlighted, and we want to highlight not everywhere, just enough to sit things back and forth from each other and giving it that bit of a wow factor. I'll put a little bit of hydrated water in there. If you have any questions you ever want to ask me, simply comment below and they get addressed in my following Friday Night Lives, and you get a big shout out as well. So we'll just sort of, if anything, I might want to come just from this side into the foliage with the highlights. So I'll sort of come in there. Did I dry it enough? And any of those brown blobs you put on, if you feel some of them are just too yucky pooey, you can use this to hide them. Right out here, just pretty much on the left side of them. And once it's all snotted in there and pushed in there and that, it sort of makes up for the painting. It's sort of, you squint your eyes, someone will see this on your wall and they'll go, I'll tell you what, I like that. And they'll say, who painted it? And you can go, oh, I did. And they'll say, bullshit. So you pretty much have three values of everything you're using. You've got the colour, whatever colour it is. And you make a darker value and a lighter value of it. And you can probably work out what's easier for you. The lighter value, the mid-tone, I would probably go the mid-tone, map it all in with the mid-tone value, say like all these leaves and stuff, and then you can put the darks where you want and the highlights at the end. Always put the highlights at the end, I feel. Some artists might do it differently, but in my opinion, your highlights is what hitting the subject finally. So it's the last colour to go on. I'll just put my signature on here and then we can whack a frame on it, see how she looks. Now be sure to check out the links in the description below. All my paintings are for sale. Message me on Facebook, and if you want the blending brushes and the putter on a brush I use, message me on Facebook as well. My Facebook link's below in the description, and yeah, I'll get you some of them out there. Now the brushes at this date in time are $45 US. That includes shipping, handling and all sort of fees to wherever you live in the world, wherever. All right. Okay, we'll whack a frame on it. We'll get these girls to calm down. Calm down, please. Good. We'll get the girls to calm down while I whack a frame on this. And there we go. Where are we? That's not too shabby, is it? Look at that in a frame. We've got the blossom tree coming in saying, here's Mount Fuji. And we've got a beautiful, simple, effective sky for the backdrop. You can do it. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you learnt something in this project, and if you did, be sure to tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody, all right? Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.